Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world today. It is Michelle Jones, author of the book, The Day the Music Stopped, subtitled My Walk of Faith Through Parent-Child Role Reversal During the Last Season of My Mom's Life. And I just wanted to make a video to answer a couple of questions. I post on LinkedIn and Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I've gotten quite a few profile peaks on LinkedIn. And so I wanted to address the who am I and why did I write this book? And I want to share with you my LinkedIn profile so that makes sense. My summary is organized strategic team player with analytical, marketing, photography, higher education, technology, and senior wellness industry experience, both remotely and on site. As someone that has that background become a self-published author. And the reality is experience of life. Uh, People either write books because they have a wonderful imagination and create characters and have a story they want to share. And others write from an experience they've had in their life. For me, I am truly an introvert, and I'm not typically one to share much of my personal life. But I do think that there are times in life where you need to be able to go raw and share what you've been through and how you've overcome it to benefit others. And so that is the why behind why I wrote the book, why I created the course, and why I'm promoting that. I feel like COVID, because of the fact that a lot of people started working remotely, and children as young as preschool started to learn remotely, and there were a lot of fun videos of parents on these very serious Zoom meeting calls and a little kid running in and out, and sometimes even a pet running in and out. But the reality that we all have lives beyond our particular roles in companies, whether we're employees or employers, and regardless of what rank we are, right? From the lowest to the highest, we're all human beings behind it. And we all have, real lives that don't always align with our work at the moment. No one plans for their Zoom meeting to get interrupted by a child or a pet, but when you got a little kid and they need mommy or daddy right now, who's on the screen doesn't really matter to them. And so we learn to adapt to that and realize, like, oh, so and so's kids in the room, we're going to leave them be because obviously they didn't have any control. The meeting continues, and life goes on. And so I think along with that, we need to, I don't like catchphrases, but I think normalize really is a good word, because we need to normalize being human, right? And I think that we need to normalize things like bereavement and grief enough to realize that it impacts each of us differently and affects our response time differently. Um, we all need different amounts of times to recover from different things, and it may look very different for all different people. You got some people that go through something tough in their life and they pour themselves into work, and you've got other people that have that same experience or the same incident, and the opposite comes along. They're not able to function. They may need therapy. There are all sorts of different, consequences to those actions and events. And as human beings, if nothing else, we need to normalize being human and giving each other enough grace to be who we are and manage how we manage. And so with my particular set of circumstances, my mom came to live with me as an emergency situation. And it's one of those, we call it the beauty of hindsight, being on the other side and looking back and going through the if I knew then what I know now. it could have been a lot stressful, at least, or a lot less stressful in the beginning, especially, but along the way with the things that I've learned. And so that's the why behind writing the book. That's the why, making myself be brave enough to put myself out there and, as raw as I could ever be and just share all that I've gone through, because if by doing that, I'm able to help someone, hopefully many people, plan in advance and avoid that stress and avoid that, just the tension and all of that that goes along. I mean, you're talking about all of those phrases that we use, like drinking from a fire hose and flying by the seat of your pants. Like that truly was me in the beginning. And I'd love to help other people not be in that position. And you think, we start our professional lives, and everywhere you work, they have onboarding and some sort of explanation of employee benefits. And in that, even if you're just fresh out of college, fresh out of high school, whatever position you're in when you start your career, you learn, or at least you become aware, whether you do it or not, you become aware of the fact that you should plan for medical emergencies. You should plan for retirement. You should even plan to start saving for future children, for their education, which could be just their regular education because you want them to go through private school from the beginning of their education, or for later on in life once they've finished high school and they need extended education, advanced education beyond that, whether that's some sort of apprenticeship for a more of a labor skilled type thing, like a trade, like electricians or plumbers or any of those things, or whether they're going to school for an extended amount of time for a more, college-oriented position. Maybe they want to go to med school and you need to start planning ahead. But to the best of my knowledge, no one's ever been prepared or taught to prepare for the day in their lives when the music stops and their parent needs them to care for them or help them get set up with help for their daily living activities, right? Whether that's you caring for them or you going through the process of researching and establishing people to come in and take care of them, or a facility for them to go to. But it's where you literally reverse roles with your parent, and now you're responsible for helping them as they helped us when we were kids. And so that's my goal. That's my why. My why is to help people get better prepared than I was and to do it in advance. And that is why my course, it's to smoothly transition, because I do believe it can be done smoothly, even if the actual day the music stops is some sort of medical emergency. You already have a plan in place. You know what your parents' wishes are. And if you're a parent and you're, retirement age or approaching retirement age, it's something to set up with your kids. Do they know what you would want if, God forbid, you became incapacitated? What would you want? Do you want them to figure it out, or do you want to have a plan in place for what you want? And so that is the goal there. Some of the other questions were on Kindle, you can have an option to read along or have also a voice that reads along the story for you. So it's like a read along as if we were kids. And while I'm not on Amazon, I'm not on Kindle, my book is available only on my website. And that is michellectnaz.com. And it's www.michellectnaz.com. The electronic format, when you download it, you can read it on a Kindle if you would like to, but you can also just read it on as a PDF on your phone or on your laptop, tablet, desktop, any sort of device. The audio version is your typical audio file, just as if you had listened to downloaded music or any other sort of podcast or anything like that. And the read along version I created because of the, hey, do you have something like that? Because on Kindle, I can sit and look at my Kindle and read along the story, but have it read to me at the same time. And so that's what it is. And I will post a separate video giving you a snippet of what it looks like, but it's literally the screen of me with the book open, scrolling. So the lines scroll as you read, and I'm narrating it because they didn't want a synthesized voice. They wanted it in my voice. So I had already narrated the audio version, and so it made sense for me to narrate the read-along version as well. And so that's the difference between the three formats. What's best for you is whichever way you like best. If you like ebooks, that's the way to go. And if you like audio, then that is the way to go there. You can plug in, listen in your headphones while you're at the gym or doing something else, so you can multitask. And if you're a read-along type version person, or if you're one of those people that likes to listen but also needs captions, whether that's because you're hearing impaired or because it's an attention thing, whatever the reason is that you prefer a read-along version, you prefer having captions with a voice, that would be the reason to have that version. And that's why I've made it available. So it is a combination of both the electronic version and the audio version at a cost savings from buying them both separately. I think I've already answered that question. You do not need a special device. And there is a discount if you want to buy both the book and the course. And once you're on the website, if you order the book, the course will automatically calculate at a 20% discount, and vice versa. If you choose to buy the course and then add the book, it will automatically calculate at a 20% discount. That is within the same transaction. If you have already purchased the book and decided that you want the course, just send me an email. And that way I will send you a coupon code that you can use to purchase the course at a 20% discount as well. So either way, you will have a 20% discounted savings. And so I believe I've answered all of the current questions. There is a frequently asked questions section on my website, so I'll add to that as well. And if you're wondering what people think about the book that have read it, there's also a testimonials section on there as well. So hop on, see what they've had to say. Right now, I have 3 testimonials on there, and it's kind of nice because I have one from Connecticut, which is where I grew up. I have one from Arizona, which is where I live now. And I have one from Cork, Ireland, which is lovely because it's on my bucket list of places to visit, but I haven't been there yet. But it's nice to have just different aspects from people all over. And maybe that'll help you decide that it's worth reading as well. So as always, I do wish you faith, hope, and love in your life. I will say bye for now. Talk to you soon.